Our Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah has defended the decision to release some high-ranking officers from the Ghana Armed Forces following the appointment of a Brigadier General as Acting Chief of Defense Staff. He described the move as a strategic measure to enhance service efficiency, align with precedent, and uphold the nation's security objectives. He's been speaking on the Super Morning Show.
If you take 15, 8 of them major generals, that is 2-star generals, had reached the point to commence their terminal leave, pending compulsory retirement. And in fact, without mentioning names, and I wouldn't want to mention names, even though the age is 63, one had gotten to 64. So the Ghana Armed Forces is said that at 63, then, or few months before that, you should take your terminal leave pending the compulsory retirement. And for them, for every 4 years that you serve, you have 1 month of terminal leave. So if you have a general who served, let's say, for 40 years, he has 1 month times 10, and that gives 10 months. It is at the end of that period that the general is released honorably. So of these 15, 8 have gotten to that stage. And I have the list before me: 64 years, 63 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 years. If you subtract 8 from 15, you arrive at a difference of 7. Let's account for the 7. And this is what I mean by the pollution. Out of the 7, 3 of them are presently not on terminal leave. One is serving as Deputy Force Commander, United Nations Mission in South Sudan. Another, a female Major General. We are so proud of her. President Mahama even commended her during the graduation ceremony of the cadets. She is also serving as Force Commander, the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force, UNDOF. And the third, Air Vice Marshal Felix Asante. He has been appointed by President Mahama's government as the acting president of the National Defense University. So, if you take the 15 and subtract the 8 that have reached the mandatory age, you have 7. If you subtract these 3 major generals and equivalent, you have 4. What it means is that instead of Reverend Intim Fojo being truthful to Ghanaians, he decided to say that all 15 major generals, their appointment has been terminated. That cannot be the truth.
Well, Member of Parliament for Asin South and ranking on Parliament's Defence Committee who raised the question on the floor of the House, Reverend John Intim Fojo, still disagrees with this explanation given by Mr. Omane Boama. He spoke on the Joy FM Super Morning Show too.
If you have taken a decision of jumping an intake 26, intake 27, intake 28, and intake 29 to appoint an intake 30 as a Chief of Defense Staff, you have jumped several intakes. The question we put, how many of these intakes from 26, because the previous Chief of Defense Staff, the former, is intake 26. So once you appoint an intake 30, it means that from intake 26 all the way to 29, all of them will have to be terminated, whether or not they have reached their compulsory retirement age, and by age and rank. So we asked a simple question. He did not answer. He rather chose to go back and be citing precedents. All the precedents, particularly 2017. 2017, he cited two people that were discharged, Major General Adeti and one other person. It is on record that in 2017, the President Akufo-Addo, only discharged Major General Adeti and Air Vice Marshal Samson Oji, who was the Chief of Defense Staff, and appointed the incumbent Army Commander, Major General Akwa, that President Mahama appointed as Chief of Army Staff, promoted him to become the Chief of Defense Staff. He didn't sack all of them. He promoted him to become, it was only Major General Adeti, who at the time was the Chief of Staff, that was discharged, and then Chief of Defense Staff, the incumbent, the two of them. Now, if you come into the Ghana Armed Forces today, there are people who are as young as 59 years old who have had to go home. So the response of people, or all of them, or 8 of them, having attained the compulsory age and that nobody is going home before their retirement age is all false. See, the question we asked, the simple response that the Minister for Defense, in all good faith, could have given, I simply asked for rationale. Rationale could have been service efficiency, could have been continuity, could have been boost of morale, and even hidden under the convenience that for matters of confidentiality, no further details at this point may be appropriate. But he chose to even publish current and former generals' ages, published it with or without their consent. I don't know if he had their consent. Nobody in the question. Nobody asked for the ages of generals. But he published all that, and he has further released it, and it's all over the place. So, you see, in the attempt for ministers to be overly political, some of these excesses can be avoided. What we are asking is, you could, even among the 15 that he's disputing, what is the basis for he claiming that my question was wrong? The 15 major generals and above, an equivalent and above, is correct. And we can mention all their names and they will tally. But what really makes it more is the fact that among the intake 30, there are 12 brigadier generals who are more senior to the currently appointed Chief of Defense Staff.